Welcome, everyone, to the Lansing Catholic Podcast.
Cougar Chat. Cougar Chat. It's time for the chat with Cougars.
Okay, someday we need to retire this jingle.
We get a new jingle?
Or just have you not do it. That's how it used to be. You used to not do that. Anyways.
People were asking for a jingle.
No one was asking for that. I'm Father Joe. I'm the chaplain here.
I'm Mr. Stolpen. I'm the Dean of Intellectual Formation. You sounded disgusted to talk there, Father. You're already annoyed. You're already in a bad mood.
Also in the studio is Mr. Ben Pohl. Welcome, Ben.
One of the many polls we have at this building.
Thank you.
Stop. You're messing with the microphone. I can hear all that.
Sorry,
Ben
Father.
is the IT director, so we're going to talk about that later. But first, we need to do our updates for the week. So this will drop after spring break, which means the March Madness bracket will be mostly... Will anything be left other than the national championship at that point?
No, the championship's probably Monday.
No, that is the day.
Championship's the Monday after spring
Monday
break,
the 7th.
I believe.
Yeah, so who do you have for your winner? For the staff bracket?
I think I have Auburn.
Auburn?
Yeah, I realized my mistake. I don't know if you realize. I was talking to somebody about this today. It was maybe Mr. Norris. Ben, I don't know if you realize. We should have just picked all the SEC teams because now they can actually pay for their championships like they pay for their football championships. And
That's right.
we overthought it. I overthought it, and I thought maybe that it would come up. But now they can legally do it. But it was just
I don't know. Auburn has to get through Michigan in the Sweet 16. So.
How much did Michigan pay their players?
Enough to make it to the Sweet 16.
That's right.
Who do you have winning it all, Ben?
I have
Money.
made 3 brackets. I don't remember who. I don't know who were for like what bracket. I have in different ones Auburn, Florida, and Duke.
Okay.
That's
So
pretty much correct.
I just picked different
Yeah.
brackets.
So I have made a bracket, I don't know, 4 or 5 times over the years, and every time it does terribly.
Oh, I'm
And
terrible
it's
at this.
very
I'm
frustrating.
awful at this.
So, but the very first time I did it completely random. Turns out that didn't work. Second time I looked into it more and did a little bit of research and thought
That didn't work either.
That didn't work either. This time I noticed ESPN has this auto generate option, so I just clicked that and it picked Florida as winning it all. And currently my bracket is the best it's ever been. So I guess that's the trick. Just do the
Computers
auto.
are taking over the world.
I had a cousin who decided one year to have one of his hunting dogs pick a bracket. So he put 2 different treats in front of him to do each pick. He lost to the dog.
Wow.
The dog won?
The dog beat him. Yeah.
That's why this stuff's stupid.
Don't put any money into it.
Don't put any money into it.
We talked about that last time.
And that's why if you have a sports gambling problem,
Yes.
you should do something about that.
That's why?
That's right.
That's your conclusion?
That's right. That's right. You're probably losing.
So what is happening this week besides the national championship on Monday
I don't know,
night?
Father. Not much of it. It looks like there's a priest feast.
Yep. So
Cannibalism
we have,
at its finest.
No, that's not what that means. So we have our partner parish priests come in throughout the school year to have lunch in the cafeteria with the students if they want to. It's just a way for them to come into the school building. So that's what that is. We also have the 7th grade retreat on Wednesday the 9th. So we have 165 7th graders coming in from all of our partner schools for a little retreat day. So that'll be a lot of fun. We've got our own students that will be running that. They'll be giving a couple of talks. There'll be a snack, mass, lunch. It's going to be a good time. But for any teachers that might be listening, just be aware that day is going to be, there'll be a lot of people hanging around. And then Thursday
the 10th, Father, is the first day of the Masters.
That's not what I was going to say, but great.
Well, that should be on our calendar.
Thursday actually is the bishop's birthday. Did you know that? April 10th?
On the first day of the Masters Thursday?
I don't think that's
Is it I heard it's about to become a holy day. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
No. But
Solemnity?
happy birthday to Bishop Boy if you're listening. He's not listening, but
He is listening. He is a frequent guest.
I had somebody once tell me, giving me podcasting advice when I was doing a podcast a long time ago, that in order to be good at podcasting, you need to be always an exaggerated version of yourself. But Mr. Stolpe is like this all the time.
I didn't know where this was going. I was excited.
I just thought our viewers,
So
listeners
what you're saying is I need to up my level
No.
of
What he's
stolpeness.
saying is your stolpeness is already quite intense.
You are
don't need to
always an
amplify it.
exaggerated version of yourself.
You know what Ben
I
said?
don't think that's possible.
You know what Ben said when I invited him on the show? His first question was, do I have to talk to Stolpa?
Wow, what else? Who else are you going to talk to?
I was just
What
joking.
else were you going to do?
I was since we
It's
started,
called Cougar Chat for a reason, Ben.
we started recording this before you showed up, and I'm
way
sure
better.
we have eliminated that because Father Joe started with asking me how was your spring break, despite the fact that we're currently recording this before spring break. So.
How do you think your spring break is going to go?
That's how it was going to go.
Rate your
Until
level of
you showed
anticipation for spring break.
All right, back to the week. So Thursday the 10th. In addition to being
Which week, Father? Because apparently you want Ben to
in
predict
addition
the
to
future.
being the bishop's birthday, it is also the Diocesan Vocations Day, which we host here at Lansing Catholic. Though it wasn't really meant to be 2 days back to back where we have big events, but that's kind of how it played out. So we will have, I believe that's 5th and 6th graders coming from all of our partner schools again. But again, it's a diocesan event. We just happen to be hosting it. So there will be a lot of kids around that day as well.
Well, we're at school, Father.
Yep, that's
There's
kind
a
of
lot
how
of
it
kids
goes.
around a lot of days.
And what's going on that night, Stolpa?
It's the 9th grade registration. Brought to you by Foresight Golf. Foresight, we're here for all your golf simulation needs.
Is that the last one of the year, the registration night?
The last plug for a golf
No,
simulator?
I'm
Probably
sure you'll
not.
have many more of those. But the registration night, that's the last one, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So for any of our incoming families or freshmen, be sure to be there. It's a great time. They might get to meet you in person, right?
Well, we don't want to threaten them, Father. They
And
kind of
see
keep
if-
me. They keep me at a
Let's
glass
see if your
box for
podcasting
this.
persona is accurate to your real life work persona.
I don't think they care about that.
And then Friday's just a regular Friday. Mass confessions, house mass. And then
It's Masters Friday.
it's also the Palm Sunday. The Sunday
Not on
after.
Friday. It's not, Father.
Not on Friday.
I get how things
Holy
work.
Week is coming. So we'll talk about Holy Week next time. And that's all we got, unless there's anything else you want to say about the week.
That's it. That's the podcast.
No, for the update of the week.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Next is where we normally do our interview.
Well, we should still do it.
Are you going to do the transition music again?
Well, ooh, it's time for a guest.
So, Ben, you have an interesting perspective here at school because you've been here for a while. You worked as the campus minister, the dean of spiritual formation. Your title shifted, but generally in charge of campus ministry for 9 years, right?
That's correct.
And then you left for 1 year, and then you're back again, but now working as the IT director. So how has that transition
Wait,
been?
if I could
Coming
sum
in-
it up.
I figured there was going to be something.
Ben, you
something
went
there.
from the most beloved person on campus, the person in charge of all the retreats and all the fun things that went into your spiritual healing, to the most hated man in the building because you've blocked all the students' games and inappropriate apps to Dick's Sporting Goods. How has this transition gone for you?
This transition has been great. I've always dreamed of being a hero turned villain.
It's pretty nice. I don't know
yeah.
about the hero part, but
Well, I don't know. You gave me a pretty glowing review just before.
no, I mean, I don't know anything about being a hero.
Oh, yes.
So I wouldn't know
see.
that part of it.
I see. Yeah, so I always dreamed of being a villain and spending all my waking hours blocking URLs, which is apparently what the students think. Some of them were asking Mr. Gates. He was telling me about this. He said, "Oh yeah, they were saying like, oh, does Mr. Pohl just like go home and just spend all evening blocking URLs?" And we have like something we pay for to block stuff, and you just click a button to add a new category, and suddenly like a million URLs are blocked, and they think I've gone through and like they were trying to figure out, well, how did he know about this one, or how did
he know?
Maybe
it's
you
just
should give a lesson on how internet filters work and operate.
no?
and see.
It's better that they don't know.
Well, you said
And they'll find ways around it.
You said when you came back working here again, a student had a funny way of putting it because they saw you and like, wait a second, weren't you here? Didn't you transfer out or something? And
That's right.
transfer
I thought you
Transfer
I thought you
out.
transferred. That's what they said.
Oh,
forgot about
I get
that.
mad because Ben left. We had this big goodbye. We got him French fries at our admin meeting.
He calls
And-
that a big goodbye. So
Yeah, well, every time I've left, I haven't gotten French fries at a place, and so
you can't get fired and expect French fries.
they're called French
not how things
fires.
work.
Fire fries, I think they're called. But yeah, then you came back, and now you're gonna leave again just to get more fries, probably.
I'm going to ask for more than fries if I.
If I
The
leave
fries
again.
were nice, but
The question is, if you leave a second time, do the goodbye gifts get better or are they worse? Because like, well, I already left once.
They're the same.
it's just the same.
Just white elephant gifts all over.
I have no plans to leave again. And actually, this in setting aside the jokes, I do enjoy the IT job. I've always enjoyed like tech stuff and just help out with other departments and different projects and things like that beyond IT, which knowing a lot about the school and kind of how things work has allowed me to help out in a lot of ways I might not have in my previous role. So
you went to schooling, though, for campus minister, right?
I actually went to seminary for 4 years right out of high school and did philosophy and Catholic studies. And then later I got my master's in theology.
Where did you learn all your tech stuff? How did you figure that stuff out along the way?
I have a associate's degree from ChatGPT. I know how to use AI. No, that's only half joking.
YouTube is very helpful for teaching how to do things.
No, not YouTube. That's like old man problem solving. This is
those are real people, Father. We only want robots helping us.
I want the robots. They're quicker, and they don't have long intros and try to sell me their
like this
merch.
podcast.
So, do you guys have merch?
No. We're working on it.
I think he was referring to the long intro.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Not the merch.
That's right. No, but I just learned a lot of like tech stuff, and I already kind of knew how things worked here just from having worked here and helped Doug with things every now and again when he was the IT director. And then honestly, like there's just a lot of it's just looking up documentation, figuring out how things work. There's a lot of like school IT director, different forums online and stuff where they've already like figured out a lot of the stuff. So.
What would be an example of an IT thing that maybe no one really ever thinks about, but was a lot of work to get running properly or to fix?
Without naming names, when somebody's like account gets hacked, like there's just like hundreds of different things that could have led to that. Mm-hmm. And because you set things up in a certain way, hoping that like that doesn't happen, like you don't really know what led to it. So we had a situation earlier this year that, it took me a while to figure out how the account got hacked and ended up finding actually the answer online in like a IT person like forum. And there's this weird like PC thing that would install a malicious browser extension. But even if you uninstalled the extension or it would run like a scheduled task daily on the PC, so it would reinstall the extension, and the extension didn't show up in Chrome at all, in no reporting stuff. And I reached out to Google, and in that process of reaching out to Google, found out that they sometimes don't know how their products work. They told me that I should.
Google doesn't?
No, they told me on a.
There goes their sponsorship.
I was talking to them about a Chromebook and like this issue of this extension, and
we'll
like,
bleep the names out, Father, so we can still try to get the.
That's right, our discounts and education discounts.
Let's call them Ask Jeeves.
That's right. That's right. Their suggestion in the chat again. I was working with a Chromebook that runs Chrome as like
a Jeeves book,
like the Jeeves OS. They asked me if I would try using a different browser, and I was like, I'm using a Chromebook. You guys made these. Like they run Chrome.
They didn't make I
can't try a different browser.
They didn't make the customer service though, Mr. Pohl.
Yeah, they did not. They definitely did not. So
we get sometimes some very entertaining emails from like a quote unquote Mr. Dominic Iocco.
Yes,
and it's like Mr. President, and it's
I'm
like
in a meeting and I cannot take the phone, but please send me.
That's right.
Gift cards.
Yeah,
it's like
employees of the meeting, and it was like I finally found some time to talk. Are you free? And it's
right. Once or twice a week, somebody will report one of those to me, and then I'll just go in and I can do like a little investigation in Google's admin thing, and then just delete all the instances of that email, which is helpful. That way, if I find out about it early, I can just delete it across everybody's inboxes, so that hopefully nobody clicks on anything or responds to something.
You do a good job of keeping the kids' Chromebooks running. You do a good job of keeping the Apple TVs and the Chromecasts, and so you're not just this figurehead, looming over everybody, blocking everyone.
No.
So,
well, I was about to say how tech is so involved in everything we do here. Everything, even like the bell
you
system.
mean on this podcast here, Father?
Even the bell system is connected to this phone that has to be programmed a certain way to have the bells in the right order. And there was an issue with daylight savings recently where the system is kind of old, so it hasn't taken into account the fact that daylight savings
there are
changes
lots
on
of issues with daylight savings.
I was waiting for that
beyond
comment.
our clocks.
But
I have a lot of
anyways.
thoughts, but that's probably for a different podcast.
Yes.
If anybody listening has a lot of money and wants to donate a new bell system for our school, that would be great.
Hey, hang on.
It still
We're
works.
getting a golf simulator first. Do not give him money for bells instead of the golf simulator. Foresight, if you're listening, we still want your golf simulator, not your bell system. Also, TrackMan.
I would just ask our listeners to please think of the children first.
They are. They're not thinking of the bells. We can have a guy ringing a bell in the hallway if we want.
That's what I proposed. If the bells just stop working, I will just ring
the
a bell.
bells work fine. I don't know what to... I thought, wait, is this bells or daylight savings time at this point? What do we hate?
Both of them. No, the bells do work. They just sometimes don't work for some reason, and then somehow I get them to work, and I don't really know how.
It's the software behind the system that's very old.
Yeah, it's no longer supported by the company.
Yeah, it's kind of janky to operate that whole thing. Right. Well, it was once I found out that it was connected to the actual phone sitting on the desk. I was like, wait a minute, the bell system is controlled by that?
Yeah, Anne has to punch in on a dial pad on a phone, when she changes bell schedules, and you can only have...
I thought there was a thing on the computer. She actually has to dial in?
That thing on the computer doesn't work anymore. He should fix that. He's tried. He's tried.
You're trying to take his money for your golf thing.
And now he's here to ask you, once again, for money. Money for a new bell system.
Gift cards.
That's a great idea. I could do a phishing scam to raise the money for the...
Do you think of all the things you'd fish for?
I have seen how gullible people are. I could make thousands of dollars.
As you learn more about repairing the internet breaches that have taken place, you could now put that knowledge to good use. And
for like a modern day Robin Hood.
It is weird to think that there are
stealing
people...
from the rich to give to ourselves.
That's right.
Knights of prosperity.
But there are people out there who just spend their time doing exactly that.
Oh, it's crazy.
I was just chatting with a coworker about the texting scam about tolls. Attention, you have not paid your tolls. Please text this number and give your credit card info. It's like, wait. But
it must work. All these people have to be doing something. I mean, they got to raise bail money, first of all. So then it's got to be more than just the bail money.
I think it works a lot just from my limited experience of how gullible all of us are.
And this might be controversial, but I feel like this one shouldn't be a punishable crime. I feel like
taking advantage of people?
If people
especially like elderly people that might not know.
Is it because you appreciate the ingenuity and
there are times when I think about that, yes, and I think about they're just trying to get by.
I mean, it's like over the past week, I noticed that there's some students who have found some ways around our filter to access certain game sites hosted on Google Sites.
I thought that was clever.
Which is clever.
Yep.
And because our student web page, which is the new tab page on Chromebooks, is a sites.google.com URL, I can't just block sites.google.com.
I
figured it out just before this meeting or this podcast though. So
you were like a kind of a modern day Sherlock Holmes.
So by the time this episode drops, will you have figured out a way to shut that loophole
down?
Yeah,
you've got to always
loophole
be ahead
is
of them.
already closed.
Okay.
While we're recording this episode.
So that loophole is. There's probably another one now.
Probably, but I don't like to spend all my time figuring that out. So.
We raise very intelligent people at this school.
Right. That's right.
We train them to be problem solvers and critical thinkers, and we can't be surprised when they use our own powers against us.
I feel like I am helping educate our students.
If you were to name yourself, then would you call yourself the Dean of Cyber Formation?
Maybe. I do like to think I'm an educator for those students who really want to play games all day.
What about this title? The Anti-Dean of Internet Distraction.
That's too many
Why
words.
is it an anti-dean?
I don't know, because it's more like you're trying to take away the things rather than give them
something. They're not an anti-dean.
By blocking things, I'm giving them the formation they need to try. They're learning. They're learning how to get around things.
I don't even know what to. Oh my gosh, you're still a dean. It's not like a hero and an anti-hero.
Didn't we say earlier that Ben was enjoying being the villain?
The villain, yeah.
Now he's yes, that's true. And now he's the villain who is helping children to realize their potential.
It's funny when I'll have a student. I had this senior last week just in the hallway during passing time in front of other kids be like, Mr. Pohl, why are you blocking all these games? Trying to make a scene as if I would be somehow caught off guard by such an accusation in public.
How dare you
and
block games?
And
at
I
a
was just
school.
saying,
I do like that. How dare you block all these games?
Right.
Like if you guys are clever students who are listening to this, you should be like, we're using this for educational purposes,
Right.
Not games. You can't use the word games.
Or be like, oh, Mrs. So-and-so wanted us to use this for class.
Right.
I got to do it for a homework assignment. And then at least you're gambling on whether I want to take the time to go find that teacher to see if that's true.
Would you take the time to do that? Or would you take these students' word for it?
I would probably just leave it blocked and just be like, well, if the teacher wants it, they'll come
find you.
That's fair.
So if you had an anonymous donor for, I don't know, let's say $500,000 to do a tech project here at school, what would be your top priority?
I might direct them to donate it towards something else, but at the school.
$500,000 for tech?
If it had to be tech.
Do you want to lower? Is that too big of a number to answer the question?
I would probably put it actually towards different this is no offense to your podcast setup at all, which is actually really nice. But towards different media things for education, so that we could offer more outlets for students for media and tech stuff.
That was a very good answer, Mr. Pohl.
I
can't believe they call you a villain.
I know.
He even said our studio was nice.
I know that.
Well, your equipment is nice. The studio
could use a little TLC.
Studio still has your.
Good thing there's no camera there.
But it's true. Yeah. If you give us $500,000 and have somebody be like, all right, give us this beautiful setup for our recording and all, and maybe we can become recording artists and have some singers.
Well, for an example, which I tried. This was before I left when I was still doing campus ministry.
Are you going to do announcements, Father?
Yeah, you can finish.
Okay,
we'll finish it off.
And then click the stop button.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I remember we were doing lessons and carols, and I was there, and I remember thinking it'd be so cool to record this.
Yeah.
But in order to record it, you have to have a certain type of microphones and good microphone. It'd be something that it'd be cool to rent or something, or have somebody come in to record it and be able to post it or something. And even video and everything, visually, it's lessons and carols is such a cool thing. But of course, that all costs a lot of money to do.
$500,000
Not $500,000. No, not even close.
No, see, we'll have more left over.
That's right.
Well, Mr. Pohl, thanks for joining us. Father's already
You're
left.
welcome.
He was so disgusted by the way this has gone.
We kind of pushed him around a little bit.
That's yeah.
Is that how it normally goes?
Yeah. Father, I'm sorry for bullying you.
I'm sorry for these and all my sins.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
But I probably should. That's a different. I don't think we could do podcast confessional.
Oh, jeez.
That would probably not go too well.
That'd be like that carpool karaoke. It'd be like podcast confessional.
But with an actual priest.
That's right.
So it'd be a little different.
I don't know if that's legal.
Why?
Church-wise? I don't know.
I mean, if you go on there willingly to confess your sins.
That's probably true. If only the chaplain was here to answer this question.
We'll speculate on other church-related
Speculate
things.
wildly about it.
Well, tune in next time for all the ins and outs and happenings at Lansing Catholic High School. I'm Mr. Stolpa.
I'm Mr. Pohl.
And you may listen to us next time. Or as Tony Kornheiser say, we'll try to do better next time.